Beware.
The Hitchhiker by the Prowler, part of the classic urban legend series. I ran to my dorm room after my final class ended. I opened the door, collected my bags, said goodbye to my roommate, and walked to my car. It was winter break, and all I could think of was getting the hell out of here and going home to my family. I had no time to waste. I had to drive cross country, and if I wanted to make it home on time, I needed to leave right away. By midnight, I was driving through the Arizona desert. My eyelids were getting heavy. Cigarettes and coffee were my friends, but I couldn't stop. I was almost at the state line. Home was nearly there. As I turned the corner, my headlight caught the silhouette of what looked like a female hitchhiker. I drove past her, but almost immediately put on the brakes. I know. I should never pick up hitchhikers, but it was pitch black out there, and it had started to rain. I backed up my car, reached over and opened the passenger side door. A dark-haired, what looked to be 5'2", beautiful young woman bent down and asked if she could get a ride to Las Vegas. I said of course, since I was heading the same way. She put her bag in the back seat, closed the door, and sat up front. She thanked me profusely. I said it was no problem. I could see she was shivering from the rain, so I turned on the heater, reached in the back seat, and handed her my sweater. I asked her what she was doing out there all alone. She replied that she was on her way home from college for winter break. I told her I was doing the same, which broke the ice, and we began to get to know each other. As she was speaking, though, I gave her a once-over, and noticed she seemed out of place. I don't know how to explain it. Her clothes, her mannerisms, hell, even how she spoke, seemed like it was from a different era. I didn't think too hard on it, though. She seemed like a sweet girl, and I was enjoying her company. After only a few miles, we were already becoming fast friends. It's strange, but there was just something about this girl. We even talked about hanging out during our time off before heading back to school. I even told her I would drive her back to her school on my way back to mine when our break was over. After about an hour, I noticed I was getting low on gas. Thankfully, we were now at the state line, and there was a gas station right before we crossed over into Nevada. I got out and went to pay for the gas and asked her if she would start pumping. As I got to the door, I turned back and saw her put the hose in the gas tank. I turned around, opened the door, and told the cashier, 20 on 5, please. My friend is already pumping it. The cashier looked at me with a smirk on his face and said, there's no gas being pumped on 5, looking at me like I was nuts. I handed him the 20 and said, what are you talking about? Turned and pointed towards the car and said, my friend, she's right there. Nobody was there. I ran out of the station towards the car, but there was no sign of her. She was gone, even her bag. A voice behind me said, you met Mary, mister. I turned around. It was a cashier. I asked him what he was talking about. He proceeded to ask me if I had just picked up her hitchhiking. I said yes. Then he asked if she wore clothes that seemed from a different era, and spoke like she was from a different era as well. I said yes. That's exactly her. But how did you know that? That's Mary, he said. Everyone knows her around here. She's haunted this stretch of highway for decades now, and always this same time of year. Mary was killed in 1955. Her body was found about an hour back from where you came, lying on the side of the road with her throat cut. She was on her way back home to Vegas from college for winter break. Wait a minute. You're telling me I gave a ride to a hitchhiking ghost? I said sarcastically. You sure did. You're not the first guy to do it, you know, the cashier said. My God, I thought to myself. I just couldn't believe what I was hearing. I walked towards my car and looked inside the passenger door window to see if there was any trace of her. The only thing that was there was my sweater, lying on the passenger seat. And it was soaking wet. The Vanishing Hitchhiker is a classic urban legend told through the ages. It's not only a piece of classic American folklore, but it's a story told throughout the world. Knowledge of it expanded through the public. However, in 1981, with the publication of Jan Harold Brunvan's nonfiction book, The Vanishing Hitchhiker, in his book, he suggests the story of the ghostly hitchhiker can be traced all the way back to 1870s. The story usually consists of a person or persons traveling by vehicle meet with or pick up a ghostly hitchhiker who subsequently vanishes without explanation, sometimes even leaving behind an item, telling the person who's driving someone was actually there, and not just a figment of their imagination. Be careful while traveling, and who you might pick up, for it may be a ghost looking for companionship. I would like to give a heartfelt thank you to the special friends of the channel for your overwhelming generosity. If you would like to support the channel, the link is below in the description. Also, please send me your stories and poems to duchessofdarkness27@gmail.com. You can also find me on Instagram at duchess.ofdarkness and Twitter at duchessofdarkn2. I want to thank all my listeners for your kindness, your encouragement, and your support. It means the world to me. Thank you for joining me. Until next time.